Hey there, this is Dr. Joe Sebastian. I'm really looking forward to speaking with you and your family shortly. And this is just a video to kind of walk you through first, just some AP exam information and statistics to understand why these are so important and how powerful they can be. And also, why, if you have a student that is currently struggling with it or just getting worried about the AP exams, why you're not uncommon and that there are a lot of students in the same position and what you can do about it. We'll then talk briefly about how our program differs with the national statistics in the rate of how our students perform using the exact program that we will walk you through here on another video. And then I'm going to share with you some of our really amazing case studies of how students from all kinds of different backgrounds were able to use the strategies that we will talk about, use the program to its full advantage, and crush the AP exams and get the scores that they always wanted. So without further ado, I'm just going to kind of break down AP exam information and statistics for you. So in 2023, over 2.6 million students took at least one AP exam, compared to 1.3 million in 2013. So over 1.3 million students basically doubled over the 10-year period, and we see that trend continuing in 2024 and 2025 with more and more students taking these courses. The most popular courses are AP English Language, AP US History, AP Psychology, each with over 500,000 students each taking it. AP World, AP Literature are right there as well, with about 400,000 plus students taking it. And in 2023, about 14.2% of all students taking the AP exams scored a perfect 5, top score. Now, some students at a higher average, like AP Calculus, but really 14%, give or take a few, and mostly it's less than, are expected to score a 5. So out of the millions of students taking the AP exams, around 14% are going to actually get a perfect score. Students who pass an AP exam with a 3 or higher can save thousands of dollars on college tuition by earning college credits. For example, passing 5 AP exams could save $10 to $15, sometimes $20,000 or more. We have seen actually higher numbers in those private universities and top schools. And students who actually take STEM-related AP courses like AP Physics, Calculus, Computer Science are more likely to pursue that in college. These courses have shown to boost their confidence in college readiness. And how AP exams help you with college admissions. Over 85% of colleges and universities in the United States consider this during their admissions process, with most schools seeing it as a sign of rigor. And students who take AP courses are likely to graduate from a college on time, 4 years, compared to that of their peers. They actually have a 62% higher graduation rate compared to non-AP students. And many schools offer weighted GPAs for AP courses that helps boost their GPAs. The failure rate, though, is something to take note of, because our national failure rate of AP courses and exams is, AP exams, not AP courses. The national failure rate of AP exams is around 40 to 50% of AP test takers. That's them scoring below a 3 each year. While a 2 is more common than a 1, AP Physics is one of the most historical, hardest exams to pass, with 60% scoring below a 3. So passing AP exam, you're more likely to fail AP Physics than pass it. First-time test takers have a disproportionately high fail rate because they don't have the experience of handling the intensity of an AP level rigor exam. And so that's why first-time students often struggle. And even though some of the highest courses and exams have a historically high fail rate, it's around 60%, with more students scoring a 1 or a 2 than a 3, 4, or 5 combined. That's AP Physics, the hardest one to pass. AP US History was always the second. It kind of dropped out of the top 10. AP US Government took its place. Their failure rates hover around a 50-50. AP Environmental Science, believe it or not, is a 48%. Why do high achieving students fail? It's important to note that students taking AP courses are in the top third of the nation. So they are high achieving students, but so many of them fail because many students, while they might earn A's and B's in their class, they often fail the exam because their grades are based on their effort, participation, or assignments. In contrast, the AP exams test college level skills and content mastery. Now, they are learning content in their school, hopefully, but not necessarily the skills. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But another reason is they have inconsistent curriculum alignment. And a study found that 27% of AP teachers do not fully align their instruction with AP course framework. I think that number is actually a little bit higher just based on the students we have in our program, because oftentimes there are first and second year AP teachers not knowing what they're doing, haven't gone to AP Institute, and are just teaching the content of the course and not actually teaching the course the way it's supposed to be taught. And then a second reason is difficulty with time standardized testing. AP exams require mastering speed, precision, and strategy in a short period of time, usually 2 to 3 hours. Students with excellent grades often lack those test-taking strategies required for AP multiple choice and free response questions, particularly under the pressure. So for an example, and I use this example a lot, AP history, the students are required to write 3 different types of essays and answer a multiple choice section within just 3 hours. Oftentimes, students are not practicing their writing under the conditions of the exam, and that leaves a big gap in why so many students fail. We also want to talk about depth versus breadth. AP exams demand both deep understanding and broad content knowledge. So, especially for AP US history, you're mastering centuries of material while also analyzing primary and secondary sources, and then also writing coherent arguments. And even though students might excel in class discussions and essays, they may still struggle to recall and apply their sheer breadth of information for that exam. Some students just lack proper study habits. They rely too heavily on memorization. I'm going to say that again. High achieving students rely too heavily on memorization. It worked in the past. They think it'll work again. It doesn't. AP exams emphasize critical thinking skills, synthesis, and application. And if they don't know how to do those things, or they're not constantly practicing them, there's going to be a gap on the exam. AP Bio, for example, focuses on scientific reasoning, requires students to apply concepts to experimental scenarios. Memorizing vocabulary alone won't suffice. There's also a grading curve. Interesting to keep in mind that even if your student is earning 50% raw score on AP Physics, that actually might translate to a 3. So even though they're getting 50% of the stuff wrong, they actually still could pass. So anything lower than 50% of the answers right could actually fail. So very, very hard grading, but it is graded on a curve. 70% is usually seen as a 5. And so it's a very hard exam to do well on. And then there are student-specific challenges. There's also a lack of resources. Some schools are not funded correctly, and the lack of access to resources, I should say achieving students. So achieving students can experience overwhelming pressure to succeed. We see that, in schools that have high performers, there is this status to do well as well. And so this also stems and creates test anxiety. And then there's also some overconfidence. Some students come into this program, or maybe don't come into this program, because they have good grades. They don't see it as like they'll be fine for the AP exam. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes I see, is that they have this overconfidence, because I have not seen an A-level student, and I mean like a student that is a high performer, not need coaching in one aspect of their AP exams. And so some students will overestimate the challenge of their AP exam and end up failing because they don't dedicate time to study, or they're not studying the right things. So some specific AP subjects with high failure rates. As we talked about, AP Physics is known to have that high failure rate. AP Environmental Science is often seen as easy, but about 48% of students score below a 3. AP US History, it's with its experienced AP teachers, high quality textbooks, and AP test resources lead to disproportionately higher fail rates. AP US History is one of the hardest exams to pass because there's a misalignment with what is being taught and what is being assessed. And oftentimes, high achieving students are overloading their AP courses. They often overcommit 4, 5, and 6 courses. Balancing those is challenging. It can lead to burnout and poor exam prep. And of course, there is test anxiety, and There's also a high emphasis on synthesizing arguments from vast historical contents, and that's why we see the AP history exams fail 40 to 50% annually. So all this news sounds terrible, right? So what can be done about it? Well, first, targeted prep. Students need better preparation focused on AP specific skills such as critical thinking, argument construction, and data interpretation. Second, they need practice testing. Research shows that students who take multiple practice tests are significantly more likely to score a 3 or higher. That's where really good coaching comes in too, because if you just take a practice exam and leave a kid to do it on their own, they don't get the crucial feedback they need to know what they're doing wrong and how to improve on it. But taking practice exams can help. And they also need that support for skills, not just content. They need to learn how to write these things, these complex FRQs, and how to manage their time effectively. That's how it best can help high achieving students close the gap. So reasons why students in general score below 3 is they lack prep, they underestimate the difficulty of exams, or fail to utilize test prep resources effectively. Most schools don't start till April. We start a heck of a lot earlier, but waiting till April is too late. In most cases, students will go into the exams underprepared. There's insufficient course rigor. So the schools aren't actually preparing them for the exams. They don't fully align with the AP course content or College Board curriculum level, leaving the students unprepared. Time management challenges. AP exams require a mix of multiple choice and free response questions, and poor time management skills. Students are going to score lower just by nature. And always, obviously, first time test takers, it's challenging. They might struggle without proper support. So for parents and students, failing an AP exam doesn't mean failure overall. Students still can gain access to valuable skills, college readiness, GPA boost from their classes. But developing that support system matters because coaching, personalized preparation, and practice, many students improve their odds of not just scoring a 3, but earn a 4 or 5. And so if college admissions, college credit is important for you, that is why our program, I believe, is one of the best options you can do in terms of preparation. And to hit on our success versus the national average, comparing to the AP exam passing rate, our program, over 95% of students score a 3 or higher. The national average is around 60% score a 3 or higher. So in our program, students have a 58% more likely chance to pass their AP exams than the average test taker. I'm really proud of the score of 4 or 5 because 78% of our students achieve a score of a 4 or 5. 78%. Only about 22 to 25% of students nationally achieve a score of 4 or 5, depending on the subject. So our students are 3 times more likely to achieve a top score than the national average. Really awesome statistic there. Score improvement, students can improve their AP test scores by an average of 30% on their program. Nationally, that's only about 10 to 15% with different prep programs. So our program doubles the average improvement rate. In terms of college readiness and impact, college credits earned students, we have saved families over $500,000 annually in tuition costs by college credits. Many students don't even earn college credits because they don't get 3. The graduation rate, students in our program are 62% more likely to graduate college on time due to strong AP prep. The national average is significantly lower because they don't really actually track that too well. But they have found that students who are not getting adequate preparation are going to maybe spend a little bit more time in college. And in terms of the reach, over 250 students annually enroll in our expert AP coaching. We're looking to go over 1,000 this year. And many schools offer limited AP options. Smaller schools only offer like 2 to 3 AP courses. So our program ensures access to all AP courses and exams. We represent over 20 plus AP courses and exams. And 35% of our families in our program served over the lifetime of our program are first generation Americans or new to the education system. And 28% of test takers come from underrepresented groups nationwide. So we do represent significantly more first-time test takers, but also first-gen Americans and immigrant families. And students in our program especially our Ivy League track, gain admission to elite schools like Stanford, Harvard, and other top 25 universities, while only 3 to 5% of students nationwide applying to Ivy League are admitted. So our program significantly improves those odds through strong AP scores and tailored college counseling. And collectively, our students have earned over $1 million in scholarships annually. And students with lower AP scores often miss out on scholarships. So not only do you get the college credit, you also get scholarship opportunities. That's what makes college very, very affordable and sometimes free for many students. And 99.8% of students reporting feel that they felt better prepared for college and beyond when completing our program compared to the national average. So our program provides comprehensive coaching. They get access to a ton of resources and live coaching weekly. They get an unlimited one-on-one coaching package and 20 specific AP courses as well. So there's a ton of support in a variety of different ways. Nationally, most students don't get much support outside of their classroom. We also offer personalized support because every student has a dedicated success coach, private Slack channels, and tailored lesson plans. And most students don't have that opportunity to get personalized, tailored lesson plans. So that's a little bit about our program. I'm going to share with you a little bit about our case studies next.